So today on Project Shop, we are going to be on the hunt for high dollar aluminum. Extrusion's at a pretty high price right now. I'm getting like $1.05 a pound for this stuff. I've been breaking down a bunch of light fixtures, right? These fixtures like this. Now I'm kicking myself in the butt because in the past I've done hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of these over the past 10 years. And they're actually a high dollar extrusion frame. And I actually, in another video you'll probably see before this, I found a quick way of actually popping them open. We're gonna try to refine it a little bit today. But before we get to those, we just have a massive pile that I've already, this is basically what those plates are. Basically it's 4 of these bolted together. And how you can always tell, I know, I've said this many times, I'm gonna make a video on how to tell the different types of aluminum. But one quick way to tell extrusion is one, normally there'll be like scrape marks down the aluminum. You can kind of see it here, okay? Those lines, there'll be lines where you can see that it was pushed out of a mold. And 2, there'll be features that can only be from like pushed through a mold and not like cast or bent in a break. Like these here, these are up, over, 2 pieces like that. This is up this way and then this is up and bent back the other way. You really wouldn't be able to put that in a mold and have this come out in a long, like a long sheet like this and stuff like this. You know, those features right there, that's extrusions. All this is extruded. That's a quick way of telling, like this here, you wouldn't be able to, even though this looks like sheet, you wouldn't be able to bend that in a break. Plus, it has this piece in the middle here, you know, and it's not welded on there, it's part of it. So this was pushed out of a form or a mold or whatever. And all this white stuff and this stuff here, I actually got from a guy that I met. He messaged me on Facebook. He says he's a fan of the channel and he's local. And he actually, I got all that stuff, the granulator and all that heavy steel. Like that's a solid bar, square stock, and a bunch of plates. And also, I don't know if I've already mentioned it, but I went back to the original guy he got that from. He gave me his number because he's had a machine shop and he's selling some equipment, so I went to go look at it. I actually have the blueprints. Basically what he was doing is he was making the blades for those machines. So I guess he just had the machine to test it or whatnot. I don't know why he had the whole machine, but I actually have the blueprints for the blades he was making. Anyway, what we're gonna do is sort through this stuff here and then we're gonna load it up in this bin. Now I'm gonna predict probably by the end of the day, we should have somewhere around 500 to 600 pounds of extrusions. I'm hoping 600 plus, but hey, I don't know exactly how much I have here. I'm gonna firmly say we can probably pull 600 pounds because of all the light fixtures, and I have some heavy poles out front that are probably going to get us halfway there. I mean, we might even be more, I don't know, but we have a little bit of dirty stuff to clean, but a lot of the stuff I have just needs to be sized down. And we'll try to get these screws out. I bought some of this stuff as dirty extrusions at like, what I pay, 82 cents a pound or something, and then I gave him 95 cents a pound for the rest of it. He actually came by late in the evening, like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, which works out good for him, you know. I'm usually here late. So if you're local and you got some scrap to sell and it's after hours, come down to Big D's after hours scrap yard, man. You know, we buy it all, except for steel. Anyway, we also have that bin there, those lights. There's a lot of heavy, there might be, I don't even know. There could be 200, 300 pounds right there. Heck, man, we might even have 1,000 pounds. I don't know. But I'm gonna say on the low end, guaranteed, we should be able to pull 600 pounds today. So I'm gonna clear off some things here because I'm gonna actually use this vise. I have some long poles I'm gonna stick kind of like through here And I'm gonna get the skill saw out. I might change the blade to my actual aluminum cut-in blade, which I believe is on my grinder. Yeah, I got this. That bad boy right there. She be cutting aluminum like butter. So we might put that on. I don't know. Maybe I'll just keep running this blade. Seemed to do pretty good. And we also have the bandsaw and the jaw. I like, one, the blades, they're super loud and they're gonna sling aluminum everywhere. I mean, we already got a mess here, but two, you're wasting material. So some of this stuff I will be setting the jaw up on. And the jaw is really good for, like, you got little pieces of metal. You can actually cut like right through the side of it and get the metal out. And it really is good for cleaning stuff up. And stuff like this long stuff, we can just nip it in half. Now I'm on the fence about keeping this big square piece right here. I really like this piece of metal. At $1 a pound, I mean, you're talking 20 bucks in scrap, but it would cost, who knows, 100 bucks easy, 200 bucks for that piece of square. And I got 3 more right here. So I might just put them to the side and hold on to them. Let's see if we can hit our $600 goal without getting into them. We'll keep them. We'll add it to the massive pile of stock that I got. All right, so I cut up 2 poles already and I decided to try out the bandsaw. And man, this thing's working great. Now I am gonna try the skill saw real quick. The reason I was trying the bandsaw is it's just a little bit less of a mess. And it's a lot quieter, but this is what we got. I cut 2 poles up. We already got a nice chunk. Now I weighed the pole. It was like 30 something pounds. But it did have one of these little spreader things in here on the end, and I'll show you how to get that out. There's a couple little pieces in here that I've been removing, but let me show you this right here. Basically there's a cap, and another good thing about these is I am getting a nice little chunk of wire. That one is number 1. I got to get that, that's strippable. I'll strip that. Okay. So the cap comes off, kind of pry out the wire. Now the wire is actually going up into each one of these things. Got to kind of just get it out of the way to get the socket in there. Okay. Okay. And we just use the deep well and a 9/16, and this whole little contraption comes out. Okay, very simple. Look at all that wire, man. That's a nice little bonus. Okay. So that's that. These poles are like 12 feet. So I'm cutting them basically every 4 foot. So there's this. which is a little Allen, and that one's stripped. That one's stripped. We can just pull that off. And then down inside there, there's a nut driver with a ground wire. Okay, and then they're ready to go. So what I'm going to do is, now most of them are missing the bottoms, as you can see. The bottoms have rotted off. So I need to make a cut here, 2 cuts in the middle. What I'm going to do is try and clamp this to where I don't have to take it out of the vise. And I don't know if this, I'll get this set up and then we'll check the skill saw. If I have to undo this and rotate it to get the full penetration, then I'm not even going to, I'm just going to continue on with the bandsaw. Yeah, at full depth, we're only going to go maybe 2/3 of the way through with the skill saw, so I would have to rotate it. The bandsaw is working just fine, cutting through it fast enough to where I'm not even going to worry about it. I do think the skill saw would be faster. One day I'd like to have a big chop saw to get this done, but for now, this is what we got. Eye protection, hear protection is a must. This stuff is like super loud. Oh, we're a little far on out here. That's a heavy chunk of cat. Perfect. Now I'm going to be standing these things upright because I have a tons of other stuff that we can stuff down in here and utilize as much space as possible. Yeah, a chop saw would be the way to go with this, and have a fence set up. Okay, it does have a strip through, so we'll try and get it clean. my strip bolt easy outs would work good for that. Okay. All right, you know what? We're gonna be doing a lot of this. Try to save that blade because I don't think I have another one. That actually seemed like it cut through way faster. Yeah. And you know what that is? That's AC compressor oil. It's working out great. Now I could probably just eyeball this. This isn't that crucial, but it's nice to have, you know, even stuff. And scrapyard really don't like things over 4 foot. Touch that oil. The only problem with using oil, man, you'll get it all over. Check this out, man. This is a fluorescent light, but the whole back of this housing is extrusion. Break this out. Rivets. The oil comes in handy for all kinds of things. Okay. Get this other side. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this thing right in half. Bandsaw, or wherever 4 feet is. Probably an 8-foot light. Yeah. Oh, white on white don't really work. I'm going to saw through some fluorescent tubes. I ain't got time for that. I got it to move. Well, that's good enough. Phillips. A little bit of sheet. And then just that. And that. That is another fine piece of extruded aluminum. One side's always got to be the troublemaker. Gotta think about that. This side feels like it's got the ballast in it. Little chunk of wire too. Now, in my opinion, most of the time, as long as it's not tin coated, which a lot of them are, these ballast and driver wires, I would consider that #1 insulated. Especially the solid core ones like this. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I consider that #1 all day long. And with the price difference, we're going to start checking these and selling this stuff as #1 insulated. Now I'm guilty of cutting these with the #2 because a lot of times there'll be clips and whatnot. It's a little tedious, but hey, for an extra, like, I think I get $1.10 for #2 insulated and $2.70 or $2.80 for #1 insulated. So there's like $1.70 a pound difference. I think it's worth separating and just, you know, take a knife real quick and check. You got solid? Hey, that would almost be worth granulating. Hopefully copper keeps going up. It went up and went down. All right, we're going to set this aside for later processing. I'm gonna take these and try to like line them up around the outside here so that they make some nice walls, and I can stuff them. I can throw all that stuff down, try to stack it on the inside, and then we can just stuff them with all this stuff here. And like this, oh man, that extrusions, which is from those parking lot lights, I can just slide down, you know, slide that down in there, and then we can even slide some of this stuff. If some of this stuff will stuff it all, man. It'd be like a stuffed crust pizza. So, man, we probably already got 150, 200 pounds in here. I'm hoping. I forget how many poles we had, 5, 6. It's 30, 25 pounds a piece maybe, so maybe 150 pounds. We're on our way. There's probably 50 pounds, 60 pounds sitting on the floor right there. I forget what I bought. I bought about 150 pounds last night. So we'll hit the time lapse. I'm gonna grab something to drink. We're gonna clear this table. I am going to set these 3 pieces aside with that long one. Yeah, we'll see. If we can get our $600 goal, I'll keep it. All right, man, we are moving right along. We got a nice little stack. I wanted to basically use these to make walls because I'm probably gonna fill the whole inside of this with this stuff and the other extrusions I have coming, but we got a good start. I broke down this, well, started breaking down this. I don't know if I have to pull this rubber. I guess that would be considered dirty. So I'll try to clean up the rubber as much as possible. But I had to take a little break. Steve stopped by with my favorite pepperoni and regatta cheese. He likes mushroom and extra cheese, which is kind of nasty, but hey, whatever floats your boat. Anyway, I'm gonna get back on this. I brought out the jaw, been shredding stuff up. Man, some of these bits on these doors are pretty heavy, man. A lot of nice stuff. I'm gonna clean off the table here. And then I'm gonna start out there on that bin right there. I wanna get those lights broke down and start stuff in the middle. I'm gonna try to stack these in there the best I can. It don't take much. If you just throw stuff in the bin and it kind of jumbles up, you really get a lot more in if you know, stack it and place it right. So hopefully doing this, we'll get our 600 pounds. Now this thing here weighs about 80 pounds, I think. So I'm sure we probably have close to 300 already. So I'm gonna hit back the time lapse and we're just gonna keep clearing the table. I am going to keep those pieces. I'm on the fence about these. I think I might keep these. These are really nice pieces of aluminum. I might put them up there with my aluminum stock for some future projects coming up. That's what we're listening to today before I get a copyright strike. I like to kind of change up the music every now and then. Anyway, we're back at it on this aluminum. So what I got here is I got all the light fixtures I need to crush. These are all extruded aluminum. They are extruded housings with a sheet backing. A couple little tabs that need to come off to make this clean. We'll hit them with the air chisel, clean this up really quick. But before we do that, also we're gonna pull all these plates off of here, and we're going to clean off the bench. We did a live stream last night. This is how far my videos are behind. You would have seen I broke down a power USB backup thing. Got some batteries, some chips, stainless. Unfortunately, an aluminum transformer. But I'm gonna clean this off. We're gonna go through all that extrusions. I might go through that first before I start busting them down, because I want to put the press over here, or the hydraulics. But before I put the hydraulics over here, I want to crack all the transformers that are going to go through the first press. All these ones here, these are cutters. These ones need to be ground. They have the lock, as you can see there, and the bottom. So I have to grind them, knock the L-shaped case off, and then I can push them through the second core. These are aluminum, one small copper. I think that's copper and aluminum. And then these all are cutters. We'll set them up in this little thing once we get this aluminum out. But I do have a couple transformers I forgot. I didn't even know I had. I found this drum. What looks to be, oh man, this thing, whatever this is super heavy. That looks like a 1500 water. That looks like a 15 or 1000. Looks like some big boy transformers in there. Not a lot, looks like 5 or 6, but I do want to crack them, get them out of the way. During the live stream last night, I don't know what the price of copper is right now. I'll call here in a little bit and get a price, but everybody was telling me in the live stream that copper took a dive over the weekend or last week. And now I'm not sitting on a lot of copper. I never do, but I do have some process number 2, and I have a bunch of stators that I need to pull, and some transformers, like those type of transformers that I need to pull the copper out of, and some things that I've been meaning to incinerate. And unfortunately, with the price of copper going down, that sucks, man. That could be like a couple $100 difference on my load. So I'm gonna get them big boy transformers up over here on the press. I'm gonna blow them out real quick. I'll probably just crack them and not worry about punching them through. I'll punch all that stuff through at the same time later. But I wanna get the hydraulics moved over and set up over here. All right, I got the pump set up on the hydraulics over here. We got our foot pedal. I did break one down real quick. What I really need to do is probably cut a plate and weld a bar on there or something, or maybe even put the cracker together. I don't know if I really have time for all that, but it would be nice to actually use the hydraulics to come down and actually push these out, because I'm beating with a hammer, which is, I guess, okay. But before we get into that, we're gonna process this real quick. We got some really big chunks of aluminum extrusions. We got 2 nice pieces right there. Now, I did that live stream last night, and I called about some copper prices, and they were like, the market is literally fluctuating by the minute right now, which is absolutely crazy. Hopefully it levels out, starts going back up. But last week I got a $4 a pound price on Bright and Shiny. We lost 70 cents a pound. Number 2 copper was $3.80 a pound, so we lost like, you know, 80 cents, 85 cents there. Number 1 insulated was like $2.80 or $2.90 or something like that. I was getting $1.10 for number 2 insulated. Cast stayed the same. Old sheet went up a couple cents. Extrusion went down 1 cent. I'm all right with that, because I got a crap load of casts and extrusions. But it really sucks, because I do have some copper wire here, but it's not a lot. And the fact that I'm going to get 70 cents less a pound for it, Kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. We ain't gonna gripe on it, man. We're just gonna keep pushing forward. So first thing we're gonna do is process this thing here. It looks like it's going to be a lot of these screws. Looks like maybe 3/8, 7/16. Yeah, 7/16. Get our high speed thing going. I want to process these because they're sitting on a pallet of lights that I need to put through the press there. Okay. We'll just keep going with this size until we come across. I don't know about you guys, but these things here, these lug blocks or whatever you call them, I send them with the extrusion. Now, these things here are not, I think they're just big chunks of sheet. This here, I don't know why this is so hard to come off. This is actually copper. It might be the only piece of copper on here. Put that over there. A lot of good washers on this thing, man. Gotta break out the goodie bucket. Okay. Huh. Man, these are really nice pieces of aluminum. We're gonna have to cut these down. Crazy. 7/16 won't fit down in the hole. The 11mm does, but it's slightly, it's like a little tight. Man, that is one solid chunk of extrusion. It's actually really good hardware. Nice chunk right there too. Okay, we're getting down to it. Now all this stuff like this is all extrusion. This is not, I don't think. I mean, it looks like it's extruded, I don't know. We might throw it in there. Okay, one more piece. That was a little tedious, but that wasn't bad at all. I'm pretty sure I would have paid 4 cents a pound for this. So all of this aluminum I'm literally gaining $1 a pound on. Oh, that's the way to go. Air chisel for the win. You might be using that to clean all that other stuff up. Okay. That's that. Okay. I'm going to clean this up for a second. Well, we got one more thing to process. This thing here, I'll just time lapse that and then I'll get the get this set up to crack all these. We got 3 pallets basically of those lights to go through. Then we're gonna work on all those things back there. And that should, by the time we're done that, we should have a full bin. I'm hoping 600 pounds of extrusions. And I'll pick through some of this hardware. I mean, it's a shame, the weird heads, but nice chunk of cast. I'll tell you where we're going, right to the scrap yard. Dancing. You ever seen your copper dancing before?